Hi, in this tutorial today I am going to go over some of the basic buttercream techniques that most people are going to want to have when they start out doing any type of cake decorating. You will start out with a good classic. I like an American buttercream. It crusts nicely, it pipes nicely, it also smooths out really well. I'm going to also teach you how to do a dam so that you can put any of your special fillings inside of the cakes, whether you prefer a buttercream filling or a custard or a fruit filling. Preserves, I like preserves. And then I'm also going to show you just basic stenciling. It's a very simple technique that you're going to learn today. Most people can start out with this. You always start out with a good solid cold cake. I prefer to freeze my cakes overnight, wrapping them in saran wrap so that they are nice and solid, so that they're not all smooshy on you when you're trying to ice them and they don't move around a lot. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message. Just comment in the bio or the link or the whatever it's called down at the bottom. Sorry, but yeah, just shoot me a message and I can answer any questions for you. I appreciate you watching. These are my standard tools I use on a regular basis. This is my heart-shaped cake I've baked and froze overnight. My classic buttercream right here. It is going to be colored with this icing color here, and my buttercream in a bag so I can make a dam for my preserves. These are all my regular tools that I use every day. My cake table with a standard cake board and non-slip so my cakes don't shift around on my cake stand. We're going to start by coloring our buttercream. I like this American buttercream because it holds the color really well. I love this sky blue. It's going to be perfect for this conversation heart. Only a few drops is all needed. We're just going to stir it until it's all blended. It only takes a little bit. Now that this is all blended together, we're going to set this aside and get our cakes ready. I have my frozen cakes here that I baked yesterday, and like I said before, I froze overnight so they're nice and solid. I'm going to change my camera angle so that I can show you how I do the dam. This is my buttercream. I just cut a tip off the edge of my plastic bag. And I'm going to use some raspberry preserves with this chocolate cake because it's going to be delicious. So you just make a nice thick buttercream dam all the way around the edge so it holds the preserves from coming out when you're starting to push the cake together and ice it. I like a nice thick layer of the raspberry because it's tart with the sweet of the chocolate cake. It's a good combination. All right, this is about spread out. So we're going to get our other cake ready to pop on top. When I stack my cakes, I like to put top to top, and then the bottom is the top that I'm going to be icing, so it allows for a nice square edge. So now we're going to be doing a crumb coat. A crumb coat is basically a really thin layer of icing so that my exterior icing, the main icing, doesn't get any chocolate crumbs in it, because nobody wants chocolate crumbs in their icing. It's a pain in the butt. Trying to get my camera angle here proper so that my arms aren't in your way. So we're just going to smooth this all the way around the outside, and we're going to get a nice thin layer. We're going to scrape the excess off so it's nice and smooth. I sped up the video a little bit here so that you could see the process, but didn't have to watch me go through the task of doing the crumb coat the entire time. Now once this is crumb coated, I'm going to pop it in the refrigerator so that it can solidify for a little while. I'd say about half hour, 15 minutes, so it's nice and solid, so that when you do your base ice, it's not scraping off with the base icing after you as you're putting it on. So now I'm going to take my big scraper, my metal scraper. I love this thing. It makes a nice clean edge. We're going to just scrape this all the way around, get the excess off. This buttercream icing is a fantastic recipe, and I can pop the link to this or the recipe in my bio if you'd like, or if you just want to comment, I can just send it to you. It's a great recipe. So this is crumb coated, and now this is after it's been chilled for about 15-20 minutes. It's ready for a base icing, and we're going to do a nice good coat on it so that it's because you're going to be scraping a lot of this off. So you're going to put a nice thick coat on so that you can scrape it off, because you don't want to keep scraping and then hit your cake. You notice that I go around the outside first. I prefer to do it that way. That way I can just fill the top. That way you're not breaking the shoulder of your cake as you're trying to put ice from the top, pushing it down. So we're going to run this all the way around the outside. You'll notice as I'm doing this, my angles are a little goofy with my arm. Next video, I will put my camera on the other side because I'm right-handed. Gotta learn somehow. See, I filled in the top, and I'm just going to smooth this out a little bit and then scrape the excess off. This scraper is a wonderful scraper because it has a nice 90-degree angle and a really long straight side. It's fantastic for tall cakes, short cakes. It's just one of those all-purpose scrapers, and it doesn't lose its angle. It's super nice. So I'm just running this at a 90-degree angle all the way around the outside. And then I'm going to scrape off the top so that it makes that nice 90-degree shoulder. I'm going to have a little cleanup to do. You never get it perfect the first time. At least I don't. I see I have some mist where I didn't mix my buttercream properly, so I'm going to have to put some better colored on so that I can fill that in. So we'll just scrape that back around and it won't even notice. And I've noticed a few spots that I've missed that I'm going to have to fill in. So just scrape this a few more times. That's what I love about this icing. It smooths out so nicely. We're going to clean up the edges on the top. This is going to be the perfect cake for your Valentine. A few more cleanups. I don't like buttercream on my cake board. I always run my scraper around the outside just to clean that off. It just gives it a neat, tidy look. So now we're going to pop this into the freezer for a little while so that it can harden, because I want to do a stencil on top. See, I've had it in the freezer for a little bit, and I decided to just do a quick love you conversation heart. So I'm going to write that on. Using a ball tool and some parchment paper, I had written this love you out on this paper so that I can just emboss it onto the cake. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on the cake through the camera, but it does have a stencil of love you on there, and I'm going to use that to follow when I do my writing. Now I'm going to mix some red buttercream, just a little bit. I only need a little just for some ice, just for the writing. Quickly mix this up, and then we're going to throw it in this little pastry bag. I love these little disposable pastry bags. They're handy, so you don't have to keep on making new tips or making new bags with tips. I'm going to put it in the bag here real quick. So now I'm just going to snip off the end, just a tiny little bit, so that I can make a nice writing tip. I don't know if you can see it. It's just a little bit. I'm going to take that piece of parchment and I'm going to draw a quick line to make sure, test line, and I think we're good. Clean off the end. I like that size. It's perfect. All right, now we're going to quickly write that love you on. This is one of the cutest little cakes. And it's a simple design that anybody can make for their Valentine. You can do a project with your kids. They can make it for one of the parents. You can do any. You can even do some funny conversation hearts if you want. All right, super cute. So now we're going to do a piped border. I'm just going to use a star tip. I believe this is a 21, and it's just going to be a shell border. It's a classic border. It's just going to be a hold and pull, hold and pull. Or I guess more like squeeze and pull. We're going to run this all the way around the outside. This is a simple cake that a lot of people can start out doing. If you have any questions, you guys please just shoot me a message or a comment, and I hope you enjoyed.